Hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. It's me, Teresa Parker, and here I help premium content creators harness the entrepreneurial skills they're learning right now in order to build a better future. And today I'm going to be telling you about how I set up my vendor booth. So, as you may know, if you've been following me for a while, I have a book. It's called Slut to CEO, Converting Your Fan Site Subscriptions to a Sustainable Business Model. I'll be sure to link that down below. It's for sale on Amazon. You can cop it there, but I'm gonna tell you where else you can get it if you are living in Dallas. I set up pop-up vendor booths at different events, usually music events. I had the idea to vend for like a year before I ever actually said anything about it, but because of the content of my book, I wasn't sure if anyone would want me at their events, you know? And I had applied to a handful of different vending opportunities and not heard anything back, so I just got a little bit discouraged. But then finally I told my friend Jules from How to Be Social about how I had this idea, and within a week she had an opportunity for me. We had a karaoke charity fundraiser for Palestine. It was called Rock Out for Rafah. Just so you're aware, like a lot of times that you're doing a vendor booth, you either have to pay like a flat fee or a percentage of your sales. So like 15% of my sales went to the charity. Ayla came with me and set up a booth for her crochet business, Label A, so I felt a little bit more comforted having her there with me, and then also Jules there with How to Be Social. Fortunately, I've been working as a freelance brand ambassador for about 3 years now, so I kind of had a leg up on other people who are going to try and start doing something like this, because I have experience like cold selling to people at events in this particular way, because I already had like a table and a chair that I used for demos, and then I knew that like I needed a tablecloth, and then I knew that if I just laid everything flat it would look boring. The one thing that I didn't have planned was a light, but since I have like a selfie light that I use, it's portable and I use it to take pictures, I just like set it up on the table because it actually was super dark in there. And not only did I know what I needed to set up, but I also knew what records I needed to keep. I knew how long of a shift was regular for me to sit there for. I knew like kind of some of the just different pitches and had an idea of what I was getting into. Because I kind of already knew what I was getting myself into, I had a plan for how I was going to go about it. I created this document after reading The E-Myth Revisited by Michael E. Gerber. Basically, in this book, he just says that when you're starting as a small business, you should put the systems in place to replace yourself later. Which means that even though I am working the vendor booth all the time right now, if I needed to hand it off to somebody, they would have the tools to run it without me. So, even though I already was doing the vendor booth before, this is like a comprehensive guide on how the booth is run in case I needed to delegate that to somebody else. And I think it's a really good place for us to start talking about like all the information that you're going to need to have when you are setting up a vendor booth, if you ever want to do this yourself. So I have the purpose, which is elevating communities which are overall supportive of women and sex workers participating in events I'd already be at with my business to feel more productive, and then collaborating with my friends to build up one another's projects. So it's all about community over competition. That's something that I value a lot and I hope shines through with my brand. And then the objectives, obviously selling merchandise and promoting brand awareness for Slut to CEO. It has the materials for setup. You'll need a pink tablecloth, 2 slanted acrylic presenters, a laminated bookmark pricing sheet, a rechargeable light clip, Sharpies for signing books. I only need that because if it's not me there, then you're not gonna sign a book. merchandise, physical copies of the book, and bookmarks. My laptop, because I take records on it, and then chargers for my phone, my laptop, and the light clip. And then I just did my first outdoor event last week, and I needed a canopy tent, which I had in my car, but it's blue, and I added a little note that I want to get a pink one. And then once you're at the event, the windows that you want to have open, you'll see here, this is the 2024 vendor sales, and it's going to have the person's name, what they bought, how much they bought it for, and their payment method. And then this is just going to be my Venmo and Zelle QR codes, which you're welcome to use during this video if you'd like. I always take donations. And then, as I mentioned before, I have worked as a brand ambassador before, so I have appearance standards in here just because I want how I look or whoever's selling this item to look matches the branding, and it's very kind of like bimbo core. So I want hair and makeup done. It says business casual. It just means like you have to look cute. Like I don't want to look like a slob while I'm representing my book, because my book is all about being sexy and successful, and showing up in sweatpants and no makeup doesn't really say that to the public. You know what I mean? And I usually try to wear something that's pink, but if I can't find something that's pink, then I'll just wear all black. And I'm not going to read all of this, but it has expectations. It just says that you're friendly and knowledgeable about the product, and also understand that if anyone is making you uncomfortable, it is not your obligation to continue selling to them. Because one thing that I've learned from doing OnlyFans is that people who talk and talk and talk are just wasting your time, and 9 times out of 10, they're not even gonna buy what you're selling. So you're wasting your time even trying to like bargain with them, because they're just wasting your time, especially if they're making you feel uncomfortable. And then I have got my payment methods, information here. And then I made a little chart for sales pitches. So if a man is respectfully interested, you can tell them, like if your girlfriend or if you have a friend who's interested in it, you can buy this book for them. I've had many people do that before. Gay men will sometimes ask me if this information is useful to them, and I tell them, you know, it's targeted toward women, but you can still find a lot of good information in here. Women interested in selling premium content, I tell them, you know, you can make money off being hot. You're going to be objectified anyway. You might as well turn a profit on it. And then if they're like wary about what kind of content they're going to have to put out there, I'll tell them, you know, it's not all full nudity, whatever. Like you can do swimsuit or like lingerie, like boudoir, even just like workout videos people put out. So it's just another easy way to make some extra cash. It's not easy, I shouldn't say it's easy, but you can explore that option if you're interested. And then if somebody comes over and they're not interested in selling premium content, if I don't want to explain it in depth, I'll just tell them, like, my book is about monetizing your social media platforms, like especially if it's a creepy guy that like you can tell when they just come over to like snicker, as if they're a 12-year-old boy, and those people I don't entertain. If they ask me what it's about, I tell them it's about monetizing your social media platforms, and if they continue to ask questions, I'll answer them, but if they make me uncomfortable, I don't feel obligated to. But if they are interested in being like an influencer or something, I will point out that they could just read bits and pieces of the book. So like creating high quality content, advertising with social media, managing your finances, and accessing health insurance are all chapters that would also be useful to somebody who is just like a self-employed person, maybe an influencer on like Instagram or TikTok. And then at the bottom here, I have just like a little bio for the brand and the book in case somebody is trying to sell the product. They can read my backstory, why this book was written, and who it's for, what it's about, the basic sales pitch that you would need if I weren't at the booth and you were trying to make a sale, all the info is right here. So then once I'm at the event, if somebody walks up to the table and they seem interested, I'll stand up and introduce myself. Usually I try to ask their name, which is why like if I have the spreadsheet, I'll put their name in there too. I've got like kind of an elevator pitch where I tell them I did OnlyFans for 4 years and this is just a business book through the perspective of that industry, because a lot of times either there's not a lot of information out there or it's like kind of jumbled. So I just wanted this to be a very comprehensive guide for anyone who's interested in getting into this industry. It's everything that I wish that I would have known, and now I'm like handing it off to anyone else who's interested. And then if you make a sale, go over to this page where it says vendor sales and put in their name, what they bought, the price, and how they paid for it. You can go to event info, which has the location of the event, what it was, the date and times I was there. I usually like to be there from like 9 to midnight. After midnight, people can start to be weird because they've been drinking. That's especially when you get some like more creepy guys who are like just giggling and like asking you weird personal questions that make you uncomfortable. But I will say sometimes when I stay until 2 or even like 1:30, somebody earlier in the night who's like, oh, I'll think about it, then they'll come back over because I'm still there. So there's pros and cons. It also just kind of depends on the event that you're at, who's there, and just like how they're acting. But generally I like to be there from 9 to midnight. But if I show up late, then I want to be there for 3 hours. I try to be there for 3 hours no matter what. So if I get there at 10, I'll stay until 1. And if I get there at like 11, I'll stay until 2. And if I'm making good sales or I'm having fun, I'll stay until close too. But 3 hours is the minimum. That's what I learned from doing brand ambassador work. And then I also have this little section where I keep inventory. You can see that these say NA because I ran out of my bookmarks that say sluts love bass music. And then I didn't want to have the ones that said sluts love house music out because I didn't think that there was going to be that many house heads. But I was at the outside stage, so there were more house people. And then here, yeah, I just have the total sales that I had. I have a little formula up here to do it for me. As I mentioned, I'm out of some of the bookmarks that I've created, and I'm trying to get better about staying proactive with my inventory. So making bookmarks when I need them. I just broke one of the frames that I have, so I need to replace that. And then also when I replenish my book stock, it costs me about $200 to buy 30 books from Amazon because I get like the author price for, it's just the wholesale cost of the book. So outside of what you're doing at the events to sell the book, you're also going to have some of that back end work that you're going to have to do. And I know this was a little bit different since a lot of vendors don't sell books, and the books that they do sell are not about premium content. I hope that this video helped you anyway. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. As I've mentioned recently in other videos, I don't really know what to talk about on YouTube anymore, so if you have any ideas, please leave a comment down below. If you like this video or you just like me, please subscribe to the channel and hit the gray notification bell down below to stay notified when I upload new videos. And I'll see you in the next one. I got too high before this. Okay.